All right, welcome to the first episode that I know of the PrydeCast. We got Steve, aka Franchise. We have Tyler Milnash in the
Hello.
house, and then we also have our guest today, Fiverino, as I like to call him. This podcast is basically just going to be about content creation and ways to help all of the grinders and other aspiring content creators maybe get some tips and to improve your content. And we'll just kind of throw in some other things going on in the Twitch world and streaming world as we go. Hopefully we'll get a pretty good amount of information for you guys out of this podcast. And yeah, so our first guest today is Five. Introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Five, or Nathan. I'm a streamer. I'm an owner. I do things. I wear a lot of hats. I'm wearing this one right now, but you know, yeah. I'm the owner of Pryde. If you don't know, and if you do know, I like you much better than the people who don't. But yeah, super excited to be here. I'm on the inaugural podcast, PrydeCast.
Well, yeah, man, we're super glad to have you. And one of the things I wanted to kind of jump in about is like, what does it mean to be an owner, and kind of talk about organizations in a whole, because I feel like a lot of people don't really understand them that well, because, you know, there have been a lot of iterations from them over the course of content creation over the past, like, I mean, God, 10, 12 years almost now. I mean, they were clans, right? Remember, you know, we used to be clans. We were clans.
Yeah, it's clans.
And then clans started making money. And you're like, oh, we can't be called clans anymore. And so it turned into organizations, or really it's more of like a, what would you call it? Because I think you were the one that called it that. There's organization, but there's also another good word for it that I believe you used. It's more of like a, I wish I could remember the word. Almost like a,
family?
like, shut up. No, it's not family. It's yes, like a family, but almost like a way to, like, a management type of situation. It's not really management, but it's also a way for everybody to come together, help you kind of promote things, because just because you join an organization doesn't mean you particularly make money, right? Because a lot of, you know, we're all in Pryde. We don't make money from being in Pryde.
Yeah.
But then some people do see that with, like, phase and, you know, contracts and things like that. And it's kind of more of a way to just help connect people and grow. And yeah, like,
100%.
kind of what you said, like a family.
Yeah, it is definitely. I feel like it's for like the people that don't have, or the teams, organizations, clans. For those that can't really afford to, like, pay their creators, they really have to make up for that in, like, fostering, like, a really good environment to, like, connect with other creators and grow together. And that, I feel like that's the coolest part of being in there, like being able to surround yourself with people that are doing similar things as you, but also, like, all doing their own, like, their own unique creative thing, which is it's like super cool to see and connect with those people and kind of, like, draw inspiration and dish out some of that inspiration.
Yeah, and I think what really pulls to you is your authenticity, and I think you bring people to you that kind of have the same vibe and the same feeling around that. And I think it's really interesting because I'm always really weary of organizations and groups, because there's always some sort of like cultish mentality. It's very like, right? It's very like there's very like it's a social ladder, like a hierarchy almost, where there's a lot of ego involved and a lot of people who kind of look down on others for certain things. But
Exactly.
and the one thing I found about you and realized immediately is that that's not the case. There's no ego here. And what happens is you bring people around you with the same views and the same thought process, and create this amazing group. Because I can speak from some experience from other clans from whenever I were in back in the day to organizations now. Like, there is, from what I've seen, there is not a lot like this. Like, there is not a lot like Pryde as an organization that has the amount of support system. Because usually it's like, oh yeah, we're here to grow, and that's it, and we're here to grow, and we're here to be famous, and we're here to do these things. Like, you've really created, like, some sort of really, like, deep rooted, not just community, but like a culture.
Yeah. That's always been, like, my goal. And, like, obviously I wasn't always as involved as I am now. Like they brought, like, obviously they brought me on, not obviously, they brought me on to like to run the social media. So that was my thing. And I feel like I kind of, that's how I kind of got it started, was like the community. Like I really, my goal was to like involve everybody on the Twitter. Like I wanted to make sure that like I was, when I was on the Twitter, I was interacting with the community. Cause I basically saw like the teams and the organizations and stuff and how they did stuff. And I'm like, okay, like that, like they're doing okay, but I feel like I could take it to the next level, like starting with the Twitter. So like I would like respond to our members on the Pryde Twitter, and I would always make sure to like try to get clips out of them featuring creators. And so that was kind of how it started. I really wanted to like make Pryde different, I guess. And that's always been the goal, just kind of like making it like it's not like management is above everybody else. Like we all have the same goals, just some people have more responsibilities of taking care of people than others, and that's all I want it to be. I've just tried to create that, like you said, culture with Pryde.
Yeah, absolutely. And I laughed whenever you said family, because it's actually, you do really do make it like a family. It feels like an
Mm,
extended family. And and some people will hear that and think that's like very cliche,
mhm,
because I'm sure every group will say that. But you're one of the rare people who actually mean it. In my eye,
mm,
I think. I think you truly mean it, and it truly is like a family. Like there is like a legitimate support system in the organization Pryde. It's really cool to see. And if I may, and Stevie, feel free to chime in. I kind of like to like go back. So we've talked about Pryde, and for anybody who might be listening right now who doesn't really know what Pryde is and what gaming organizations maybe even are, I kind of like to go back and just talk to you about how you got into streaming and Twitch and gaming in a whole, and then maybe even work our way up to talking about how you came across, the Pryde group. And because I don't even know, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have this question too, because I don't know even if you started it or if you came across certain people who started this and then came on board. Like, I truly don't know, and I feel like if I don't know, a lot of people probably don't know. So maybe if we could just jump into like, when was your first stream, or like when did you even get into like gaming creation and gaming entertainment?
For me, so my girlfriend Leah, she streamed, she started streaming for a while. And I like even before we were dating, I was a mod in her chat and stuff. Like we went to high school together, and like she streamed Fortnite, and like at that time, like I was super invested in Fortnite. And so I was like a mod in her chat, and like I met a bunch of people, and like she had her own community, and I was like, this is pretty cool. And I kind of like took on her community a little bit, so I just became a part of it, even though I wasn't really a streamer. And then I was just like, I think she brought like made like $200 from Twitch 1 month, and I was like, nice. I think I could do this.
You're
And
like,
like
holy crap, man.
and like it wasn't even about the money. It was just like, oh, you can stream and then also make money and also like meet all these cool people. And it's like, and I was like, okay, that's cool, I can do that. So she actually bought me a PS4. And I bought myself a monitor and like a Blue Yeti, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna be a professional PS4 streamer. So I started on that, and I streamed Fortnite. I streamed a lot of Fortnite. And then I bought I actually like financed a PC because I couldn't afford a PC, but like I was like, all right, like I know I'm gonna be good at this. Like I didn't have like, I wasn't making like an income, and I didn't have like a big community, but I was like, I was like, I'm gonna be good at this. Um so I financed a PC, and then like I got like a good monitor too, and just kind of started from there. Um I've always been on teams. Like I've consistently always been on teams. I love teams. Like I don't know why. Because like some people are completely the opposite. Like you said, you're kind of like skeptical of most, but like I'm different. Like I love being a part of something bigger than myself. Like I feel like it's really cool. Like it doesn't necessarily, like I don't necessarily gain anything from it, but it's just really cool to be like a part of like a culture. So I was in one team. I started off as a streamer. I was like 300 followers. I averaged like 6 viewers. I was like a streamer, and then they promoted me to the stream lead. And then shortly after, they promoted me to the overall lead because like I was doing so much. And then eventually they promoted me to owner of that team. And then the team, like I kind of got to a place where I was doing everything by myself. So it was like it was just a lot of me like doing everything, and that I like burnt out super quick because I was like, I can't do this anymore. Um, so I ended up leaving because I was like, I just can't do this anymore, and like I don't want to like move back down, I guess.
What was the
I just
team
di-
called? Or are they still around? So you don't want
they
to say
are
their
still
name?
around, yeah.
Oh, it's cool. I mean, if you don't have to say their name if you don't want to, but I think it'd be interesting for the sake of the story to
Yeah,
know.
they're called Arc Zero. They're kind of around. They're kind of getting more involved in our community. They've definitely come a long way since then. But yeah, I definitely had to step away for myself just because I felt like I was doing so much. And then what I do, I joined a team called FMG. It's no longer around, unfortunately. But yeah, so I joined that team, and that when I was in FMG, actually, that's how I discovered Pryde. So one of my friends, and Leah's friends, she was like one of the first people in Pryde because Pryde started in January. She was like one of the main streamers that got brought on. And so that's how I discovered Pryde, and I was like, dang, like they got some really cool branding, like they got some really cool streamers in here. I really liked how they made like an emphasis on like it like, just kind of like they're creators, like that's what they were about. They were like, we want really good creators, and we like that's gonna be our thing. But also like when I started to look into them more, like they also were doing esports and merch and stuff, and I was like, okay, this is pretty sweet. So I actually reached out to them because I was the Fortnite lead for FMG. I was a Fortnite lead. And I was like, hey, like, tournament together, or like kind of what Ethan just released, the Pryde tournaments. We wanted to do something similar. And it never went through just because I don't know. It's just one of those ideas that were kind of too big for where they were at and where we were at. But when I was talking to them, like they had some really like great ideas, and I was like, oh my goodness, like I really like how they like think, like they're super creative, like they're out of the box. And I was like, shoot, like I feel like they got something special going on here. But they were like super small at the time, and I was like kind of looking to advance myself as a streamer. So I started grinding for Northern Forces, which I actually ended up joining. And through that, so I joined North as a streamer, and then Pryde put out a tweet. They were like, hey, we're looking for somebody who can run our social media and our and kind of have like leadership experience. I'm like, well, I've led every team I've been on, so I feel like I could do that. Um and then yeah, so I took it on. They had like 1,400-ish followers at the time on Twitter. Didn't really have like an active Instagram or anything like that. And yeah, and that's kind of how it started. That was back in April, so like almost 8 months ago. It was a hot minute now.
So when did you first start streaming? What month and what year?
So I started streaming 2019 back in June, so it's been about 18 months.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, and it's something really interesting about groups and organizations and clans is that it's very helpful for a lot of reasons, right? You have a community, you meet friends. I think that was my biggest issue with streaming, because I started streaming consistently in probably March of this year. And one of the biggest problems I've had in all the iterations of me trying to stream is having a group of people to play with that understand and that are in the same kind of path as you.
Yeah.
Because I'm distracted. He is so adorable. The way she's peeking out the window. Oh my god, killing me. Okay,
she's
sorry.
just like she's just like, hey,
so attentive. So one of my biggest issues were having people I could play with that were understanding of streaming, right? That weren't toxic, or that at least had decent attitudes, because you'd be surprised how hard it is to find people with good attitudes to play with in the gaming culture. Like streaming culture is a little bit different, but gaming culture in itself can get a little dark. I mean, it's I mean, a lot of people, it's escapism to game. A lot of people are, it could be just a hobby, but it can be like, your life passion, which I think is for some people and a lot of people. but
Yeah.
it could be in kind of an escape for other things, and to vent. And you get a lot of angry people. You get a lot of people whose personalities really don't fit well with yours,
Yeah.
and it's hard to find a group of people that kind of have the same mindset, but also the same drive, because that was the problem in each of your organizations. It seemed like is that
Yeah.
you were the one doing most of the work in
Yeah.
everything, and the problem is trying to be surrounded with the right type of people that have the same work ethic. Because I
Mm.
mean, we're gamers.
That's-
Listen, that's
yeah.
why I talk about gamer time. Like people on gamer time, like gamers always late. You know
Oh
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah, you were
Gamer-
out. You were out. We were supposed to start an hour ago.
We were supposed
I'm
to
just
start an
kidding.
hour
I'm
ago.
just kidding.
We were though. We were. And gamers are late, but
Yeah.
in a lot of people who are kind of not taking streaming as seriously as you know, like you or I may, that
Yeah.
they will, they'll commit. They'll say, oh yeah, we can do this, or we'll do that, or I'll lead this and do that, and then no content gets made.
Yeah.
And so it's I assume that was kind of your journey, is to find that group of people that you could consistently make content with, that you could grow with, that you because you
Yep.
that's what I've noticed, is that you really pride yourself on integrity of the content, and that's really nice, opposed to a lot of people who I feel like are in it for the growth, and a lot of these people who will jump organizations, get their fan base behind them, and then just, oh well, I've sucked the well dry, let me hop over to this next organization. And you see a lot of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What-
And that. Oh, go ahead.
No, please.
Oh yeah, I was just it's finding like the right group of people that are like similarly motivated is really cool, because like there's not a lot of people like I feel like there's a very limited amount of people like in the community that are like have like a similar mindset of like, hey, like I want to be successful at this all, and I'm willing to put in the work to be successful. I don't need it just handed to me.
Yes.
I was gonna say that was like one of the things that made me like you the most when I first met you, was
Yeah.
that like your atmosphere. You were that one person that was different from anybody that I've ever met streaming. Like you were like just nice. You had good vibes. Your stream had incredible vibes. So like instantly you get sucked into that mentality, and it just makes you feel wholesome. And then you look at almost everyone that's on the roster on Pryde. Like I could name the whole team, and there's not one person on that team that I don't like want the world for and think that they're great creators. It's just a good atmosphere to be in, and it pushes you to be better.
Absolutely. And I feel like that's it. Like it kind of starts with like the leads, like Meg, Ali, like Bayo, Saidi, like all the like content leads, the design leads, the editing leads, like all of them like do a really good job of like not only like looking for talent, but also like good people. And I think that's like super valuable, because like we just have like a really good group of people now that like like if something, like if I had something wrong in my life and I'm like, dang, like I'm going through it, I could jump in any chat and I could be like, hey, like I just need somebody to talk to, and like instantly I know for a fact, like every single person would be like, hey, like what's up, like how can we help, you know? It's like a big Chick-fil-A. They're like, my pleasure. Like, you're having a bad day, we'll get you some chicken.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really, I mean, people underestimate how hard it is to build something like that.
Definitely.
And it's interesting how your charisma and your attitude has kind of like made you a bit of like, I mean, I say a bit, but you're basically the face of Pryde for the most part. I mean, you're like the Dana White of Pryde. It's like you're part owner, but like you're like the face. And whenever like you're talking about updates or you're doing this, and I think from not just like an organization standpoint, from like an entertainment standpoint, which is what essentially from what a lot of Pryde aspires to be, it seems like, as an entertainment organization.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's really smart, and it's very, very good to have that like face of the organization kind of like talking about things or giving updates about things. And it kind of helps get the viewer to understand, like, okay, this is who they are. This is our relationship.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the hardest things in growing an organization and growing a team is getting that relationship with the viewer. Something that Optic has done exponentially well in their lifetime, that Hex has done, is get you to know everybody.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was you that was in my stream the other day on the Pryde account, but we were, okay. Yeah. I thought it was you.
It was definitely me.
So we're talking about like like having videos to like get to know people in the group. And I feel like that's something I'm noticing is that everybody, Pryde's still somewhat new, and a lot of the members are new, but I'm getting people in that know me through Meg, or know me or know Jay through me, or like all these people through each other. And we're creating these dynamics because some of us play with each other all the time, and we have like little pockets of groups within Pryde, but then we'll all play together, and then those pockets will merge. And it's really interesting now because I think the viewers are starting to get this dynamic of different people in Pryde playing games together, and it's upping the entertainment value. And I think it's a very interesting thing I see going on. And I wanted to ask you if that's something that you had envisioned to happen, or if that's something that's just like organically happening in how you're all putting everything together.
I think it's just one of the products of like the the culture we've built. Like I feel like it's just something that like it wasn't like we planned any of this. It kind of has just like assembling the right group of people where like on any given like you can meet so many people through other people, and it's just really cool to like have so many communities like be able to come together and like they're like, oh, Pryde, like, and then like even if somebody's new and like they meet, like say they meet me, I can introduce them to like 7 or 8 different people in one stream pretty easily, because I play with Pryde people like all the time. And same with Meg. Like she does an amazing job with like connecting people like that. Like she's always been really talented at that. Like from even like when she was grinding, like I could tell, I was like, okay, like she's definitely like great at like making people make friends.
Yeah, I mean, that's her gift. That's her gift. I mean, if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't even be in Pryde right now. Like Meg is so great at bringing people together. And because so you're great at bringing people together. That's like my weak suit, is where I'm like kind of rough around the edges, where it's hard for me to make friends because I'm always afraid. Like I'm just like it's like that person that's afraid to get in a relationship because they're afraid of like being betrayed. It's like I'm always afraid because I've had so many bad experiences in the past with so many like egotistical streamers that I've like played with, or groups of people that I've played with. So it's always like really nice to see the comforting attitude and the lack of ego and the lack of really just bad attitudes that really bring everybody together. And it's really refreshing.
Yeah.
And in regards to Pryde, and we might be jumping ahead a little bit here, and Stevie, feel free to cut me off, but like what are your Stevie's got to pull the reins back on.
He was about to say something, I think.
Were you?
It's all right. Like
no,
we're getting the flow for things. This is the first
you
one.
can't you can't say sorry. That's a Canadian.
I should be saying sorry. Go ahead.
No, I think the one thing that you mentioned just now too is something that I very much relate with, Nash, is that like I've had so many traumatic experiences with people in general in my life that I'm very sheltered and very withdrawn. So when I meet someone and I start to see those things that like these are really good people, it's just like, okay, now I'm all in. I could be all in with these people. Like I can come into 5 stream and I like know like 90% of the people in 5 stream. Then I go into your stream and I know like pretty much everyone in your stream, and everyone in your stream is in our Discord, and we're all in each other's Discord. So it's like after a while you build a base of just like people that's like you just like, no matter what you're doing, you probably at least have 1 or 2 people you can be doing that thing with. And I think for content creation, that's ingenious. And that's the one thing that Pryde really builds itself on, is everyone is playing together, doing things. So like you go into a stream, you see all these Pryde members, and that's the thing, as someone who was a grinder for a long time, or a pretty good amount of time, that like when you see all these people playing together, you want to be a part of that atmosphere. And it brings you up.
Yeah, and I feel like we try to do that with our grinders too. Like I on any given time, like I love playing with like the grinders too. I always say, like, I consider them an extension of the family. Like they I try to take care of them just as much as I take care of the people in Pryde. Just like trying to try to help them improve as much as I can, or just like play with them and like connect with them and hang out in their streams. And so like I really try to. I'm sorry, my monitor on is open, and Jay he's tapping in a tweet. But yeah, like, so I try to invite the grinders as well to be a part of that, and that's That's another goal of mine, is to make them feel just as at home, even though they're not technically in Pryde. I want them to feel like they're part of a family too.
So that's a great point. It's a great segue talking about the grinders. So for anybody who doesn't know, a lot of organizations have grinders, people who are aspiring to join the organization, people who want, maybe they're working to get better at streaming and they want to work up to the goal of being in the group, being
Mm,
part of the gang.
yeah.
And it's tough for you, I assume, because you care so much about everybody, but your fan base is getting larger to the point now to where
Mm.
it's got to be impossible for you to answer all your DMs.
Oh, dude, it's like, it's kind of a joke now, because it's like on my screen, like literally. So I have my monitor horizontal. Is that
Yeah.
what it is? The up down, yeah.
Like,
So, but and like, so basically, I have like I can see, like, I have my DMs open. I can see like the last like 20. So in the last 6 hours, like I have just a bunch of unread messages, and that's just in the past 6 hours, all on one screen. Like, it's completely full. There's no like, there's like, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, it's definitely like the bigger I get as a creator, the harder it gets as like a leader, owner, person, guy, to be able to handle all of that. So that's why I'm like really happy about like the management team we have at Pryde, because it's just like they make it so much easier on me. Like, I don't feel like I have to break my back. I like, if somebody DMs me and is like, hey, like, I want to join Pryde, I'm like, okay, what do you want to do? And they tell me, and I send them to the right person. I'm like, okay, I can't help you, but I know somebody who can. And so it's definitely like being able to delegate and like learn how to do that instead of like putting all on my shoulders is definitely, it's been a learning experience.
yeah, and you have to manage these relationships, and I bet it's nearly impossible. And it can be hard because you care. I mean, you truly care about everybody, but you're not
Mhm.
ever going to be able to respond to everybody.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure that will make some people upset, but it's just like the way that it is. It's not like you
Yeah.
don't like them. And I think that's something that, like, it's good to get out on like on a podcast more, because it's just like, for some of the grinders that really want to improve, and that's great, but like, you can, Five cannot respond to all your DMs. He's a busy man, but he gives a shit about you. Promise.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It's hard to express like, hey, I care about you, but also I can't always respond to you.
it can affect your
Um,
mental health.
yeah, exactly. And like some days I'm just like I wake up and I'm like burnt out, and I just kind of have to like take a step back and like I'll be like, I kind of feel bad because like I have a bunch of unread DMs, but I'm still tweeting, because it takes way less like emotional toll to like whip out like a like a funny meme than it is to like have a whole on conversation with
Totally.
someone. Yeah.
Totally. And about your Twitter, Steve, you have anything to say? I know I just jump in really quick.
You're okay. I was just gonna say, like, I know, like, I don't personally, I'm not inside Five's head, but like with Meg, who is a very similar personality type as you, very caring and wants to see everyone do successful things and be well. That like, I personally see that every day from her. That like,
Yeah.
her DMs are probably the same as yours now.
Yep.
And like,
Yeah.
she just looks at me like, I can't. I just physically can't. And
Yeah.
then like me, as someone who's like, just to segue that, like a significant other of someone that's like on that level, like,
Yeah.
you really worry about their mental well-being, because it's just like, I want them to be okay. I want them to be able to disconnect. I want you to be able to be like, you know what, gaming is cool, but like, I need like an hour to watch a show and like
Yeah.
not handle someone else's crisis.
Yeah,
or
and like
problem
try
that
to
they're-
make them a successful streamer.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
That's the one thing I've had to tell Meg to back off on a little bit. Like, you
Yeah.
can't propel everyone. Like,
Yeah.
you try your
Exactly.
best, but at some point, like, it's in their hands to make or break whatever's going to happen to them.
Yeah.
And some people want to use you as a crutch, and I've seen that, and it's
Yep.
really frustrating to me to see that. And then it's they almost like, oh, 5 DMs, and it's like, and it sucks because maybe they're confiding in you or to us about something
Yeah.
that's very deep and very interpersonal, and something that's very, like, could be dangerous to someone's health.
Yeah.
And you want to help them, but you can only do so much, right? Like, you can only do so much. You're only one person. It gets to a point where it's not fair for them to confide in you for certain types of help that you just
Yeah.
can't provide.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine how tough that is. And especially for particular aspiring content creators that are, maybe in our grinders chat or were in our grinders chat that aren't anymore, that want to, they do their best to try to be a good streamer and they want help, but some of them just don't take it. And you can, like you were talking about, you can only do so much. I get people who will ask me for advice on things, and I go, okay, well, you got to do this and this. I was like, well, I can't afford this. Like, well, you got to find a way. Like, there's always a way, right? It's like, yes, well, I understand you can afford it, but reprioritize. When your lease runs out, you can try to move in with more people to save money, or if your parents are willing to have you, or if you can get a job, well, I can't get a job because there's always a way. We have all, for anybody, any of the grinders out there listening who feel like they can't do something, there is always a way. We have not always been here, right? I mean, especially 5. You have not always been here.
100%.
I have not always had this decent camera setup. 5 has not always had this decent camera setup. You build your way up to this.
It's the product of being successful on like streaming and like building a community. That's like that's the product that like this isn't like the beginning. This is like the middle.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
Sure.
Well, and I tweeted something a while back. It was like I don't make excuses. I make adjustments. Because you don't want to make excuses like, oh, I'm not like that funny, or I'm not like this. You can improve. You can improve and you can get better, not just in your setup, but also in your personality and your delivery. Like do you watch your VODs?
Not as much anymore. So like for when I was really working on my quality, I watched it like every single day. I would like go back, I would look at my audio, I would look at my camera settings, and I spent I think over the course of like 2 months when I was really like when I was still on a webcam. That's why I bought a camera. I was just so tired of working on all of my lighting and all that stuff. And like I spent hours. Like I spent like 2-3 hours a night like working on my camera settings and like getting it like done. And that was all like off stream and like that. So like that's kind of the stuff that people don't see. Like they see you on stream and they see you like they're like, okay, like you whip on the camera and play some and interact with the community, but like taking responsibility for your own content and doing all the hard work off stream and stuff is kind of what sets people that aren't where they want to be and the people that are like getting to where they want to be. And that goes with life too. It's like people who are able to like take responsibility for like what they do and kind of grow from like where they're at and get to where they want to be by holding themselves accountable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a good streamer spends as much time off stream as you do on stream working on their stream.
Yeah. And that's kind of like hard to get oh, go ahead, Steve.
Oh, sorry, man. I was just going to say, I think as a streamer, like you're not doing work streaming. All of your work and all of your growth is going to come from being off stream. Like, yeah, you get followers while you're streaming or subs, but like all of your quality advancements are going to be off stream. All of your networking, all of your assets are going to be done off stream. That's the biggest thing that for me, when I started streaming, that was the biggest misconception to me. Cause like so many people are like, turn the stream on 7 days for 12 hours. It's like, you're not doing any work. You're playing video games. Like, it's a little bit of a different thing for me.
Yeah. I think that used to work. Like you could just do that. And I feel like that's why people still do it. Cause like you could, like you used to be able to do that. And like you could get carried like by a personality and people just like discover you because there's only so many creators. And it's just, it's evolved now so much that you have to like be really exceptional at like working hard. Like you don't have to be like the funniest person. You don't have to be like super attractive. I mean, those things help, but like working hard is like the most important asset that anybody can do.
Yeah, and working hard in the right areas, right? I see a lot of people putting effort towards things that may not be that great. Like, I know people who will be like, oh yeah, I just got like my new Ryzen 9. I got my 144 monitors. Like, that's cool, bro, but you're still on a webcam that echoes and your background setup doesn't look great. Why do
you have a white wall behind you?
You have a white wall behind your background. Like I couldn't stream Call of Duty until like last week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And look at my background. I spent stupid money and stupid time on my background because I knew I'm not going to be a fucking pro gamer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know that I can be
Exactly.
kind of funny, and that's my strong suit. And I think a lot of people will try to they're not prioritizing properly in
Yeah.
certain aspects of their stream. And I think that's something that some people need to reevaluate and take a look and work on. And I think the
Mm.
best way to do that is to look at your VODs. Um,
100%.
look at your
100%.
VODs. I still look at my VODs sometimes. I'm like, oh man, my music was too loud today. Like you could barely
Yeah.
hear me. Like I know now to keep it at this notch instead of that notch. Like
Mhm.
little small things that will set you aside from other people.
Yeah. And Steve, can I just say your background is it's beautiful. Like
Thank you.
I see like the switch remotes. I see Charmander, like the nano leaves, Yoda, baby Yoda. Like, oof, the
Chef's
background is
kiss.
like it's what I desire. Like I want more. Like it's kind of simple. It's kind of like kind of fits. Like I have a bunch of G Fuel and stuff, and but like I definitely want like something like that. It's beautiful. I love it.
I think
I
the
love
biggest thing for me though with like that kind of stuff too is like what you were saying, Nash, is like somebody would be like, yeah, I just got this new processor, and it's just like, well, that's not like, it might make your stream run better, and like maybe visually it might help, but like maybe getting that like $30 ring light to help
Mhm.
your lighting to make your overall face look better in your stream so we can interact with you better instead of spending $200 on the nanos. Like
Mhm.
those are like
Yeah.
afterthought
Yeah.
things, you know?
Yeah. And yeah, you don't need to spend thousands of dollars on your background to make it look cool. Like these are a little spendy just because like they're like custom art
art.
and stuff. But I mean, you could just get some posters from Target and like those are like less than $10. Like you don't need to spend a lot of money to like make your background welcoming. Even like Christmas lights, you know? Put Christmas lights in your background, or like I don't know, just like simple things go a long way. And I feel like people are like, oh, like I can't do it because it's so expensive. But like again, like taking responsibility for like your content, and just like investing in like even some really inexpensive stuff that can make your stream like pop
Yeah.
and make your content look better.
Absolutely. I mean, I hear a lot of people that would say, "Oh, I wanna get the Elgato key light, but I can't afford." It. It's like, dude, whoa, why do you need an Elgato key light, bro? I have I have four ring lights around me right now.
Mm,
There were $15 on Amazon. One here, one there, one down there, and one over here. Like you don't need those. My
mm,
entire lighting setup was 70-ish bucks, and you don't even have to go there. This is like it's like the like you talked about, like where I started, where I'm going. Like you don't need that Elgato key light. You can prioritize your finances in other ways.
mm. And like you can like work on that over time, you know, like just
Yeah,
add things at one thing at a time. Like I had these first, then I added the nano leaves, then I added the shelf, and then the light back here. So it's like it's just one, like taking one step at a time.
totally. I was
Yeah.
the same. I was the same way with my setup. I used to not have the LED lights. It used to be just this lights, and then added the LED light strips, and then I added the nano leaf, and then Juggernaut fridge, and then Edison bulbs in the background. With it's just like this is an accumulation of things. We didn't just set it up in one day, and it's like
Mhm.
boom, setup. We're great.
Yeah.
This is hard. This is stressful. This
Yeah.
is this is not just streaming. This is photography. This is cinematography. This is like your setup is literally the a great example of the rule of thirds in photography and film, whether you know it or not. It's the
Yep.
rule. It's the rule of thirds. It's subject in the middle, item on the left, item on the right, a little bit of space in between. I
Mhm.
mean, you have to. It probably took you a lot of time. I've seen you play with angles since I've known you. You're like, oh, am I
Mhm.
gonna do it here, or how's my webcam gonna look? Like,
Yeah.
it's experimentation until you find what fits. And guess what? The space changes all the time.
Yeah.
You might always be changing it up, and that's probably a good thing because it used to be cool little glowy borders. Now people just like maybe like a vertical view. Like
Mhm.
it changes all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Being able to adapt is like is huge. And like and but also like being comfortable with like also like finding what works for you and then like running with that. And that's kind of where I'm at. But like also being able to adapt over time. Like you said, like I used to have like an animated like webcam overlay, And I've transitioned. I don't have a webcam overlay anymore, and I feel like that's kind of become more popular, just kind of that minimalistic thing. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm comfortable with it. It's definitely something that's attractive. People like it's popular. And now I'm like running with it, but I had to like adapt to get here with kind of like the trends, I guess. And yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah. Anything on your end, Steve, before I jump in?
I can like I can tell he's about to start saying something.
was-
And
there's
like,
like this
I can
slight
see it in
delay.
your hands.
Yeah, there's this slight delay. So it's like I see him breathing. I'm like, wait a minute, is he gonna say something? I don't want to cut him off. I was gonna say both of your guys' streams, there are like a bunch of aspects that I would love to quality wise invest into my streams. Like Five's camera quality is second to none, but then I know he's got a Sigma lens, and that's where 90% of that quality is. And then Tyler with like his overlay setup the other day when I was in there, like I think I saw it like 2 weeks ago, where like when you're not playing in the game, it shifts out and your camera flips the other way. And I was like, that's nifty. I like that.
Yeah.
Like just the transitions and all those kind of things. And like a lot of people don't realize that's free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that
anything.
stuff. You just have to research. Like OBS is super powerful. There's so many like things you can do that people have already discovered. I have that chat that's like on the bottom. I just found that from like watching YouTube.
Yeah.
And boom, it's a part of my stream now. So yeah, doing research and like just adding those little things.
OBS Studio is very powerful. I transitioned from Streamlabs OBS to OBS Studio, and for any creators out there that are using Streamlabs OBS, if you want to try to like I highly recommend going to Streamlabs or OBS Studio.
Dude, I opened up my Streamlabs yesterday, and it like my regular OBS uses like 10% CPU. Streamlabs was like at 30, and I wasn't even streaming.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my goodness, that's crazy.
And one thing I wanted to talk to you about, and I think Steve and I both wanted to have a conversation with you about, is media. Is like media and Twitter, because I know you've been in the Twitter game for a while.
Mm.
You've been in the Twitter game for a while. You're very good at social media, and we kind of want to talk to you about how you approach social media, because it can be kind of a tricky balancing game to making sure people remember you and like keep tweeting and like knowing your ideals and who you are as a person.
Yeah.
But then also not going too deep to where things can get a little inauthentic, as you can see a lot on Twitter. Can you kind of just give me a run through of like your philosophy behind it?
Honestly, it's all about balance. Like obviously, like the larger you get, the more that those like analytics kind of matter. From what I've seen, like with like getting sponsorship deals and like all that stuff. So like it does become really tricky the larger you get, because it's like, because you don't want, like you said, you don't want to be inauthentic, you don't want to like clout tweet, but also
Where's
like
my Noti gang at?
where's my Noti gang, but like you don't want to clout tweet too much. I'm definitely guilty of doing it from time to time, because like it works. People like it. People like do it, and like it's a vicious cycle. People are like, oh, I hate when people clout tweet, but then they interact with the tweet, and then it's just but so it is like tricky. It's definitely finding a balance and finding what people resonate with. And I think that's the biggest thing. I've been playing with Twitter since I was 14, so 8 years now that I've been on Twitter in some aspect, and I've definitely learned a lot over that time, especially in the past year since I've been streaming. Like it's definitely, you definitely see what people like and what people don't like. So like if I like tweet something like that looks messy, like there's even like aesthetics that like play into it for
Absolutely.
me. Like the aesthetic of a tweet is like super important to me, which is crazy, because like you would think like you just pop on Twitter, you bust out some tweets and boom, but like the more of a following you get, the higher quality you have to do. And like I really try to find a balance of getting like media out, so like advertisements for G Fuel, or like clips of myself, or like pictures of me or my dogs or things in my life. So I try to get a good amount of those out, and also like my own thoughts or like some tips on being a streamer that like I wish I had known when I was a younger streamer, or even like there's also something that I kind of have encountered on streamer Twitter that I do. I call them wholesome cloud tweets. Right? So basically,
yes, I wanted to talk to you about this. I'm so
Yeah.
excited that you brought this up. Yes.
they're like very simple, like it feels like common knowledge, but like very simple, like wholesome pieces of advice that like everybody can agree with, like regardless of who you are, like everybody agrees with that, and like everybody knows everybody agrees with that, but like it's still it's kind of a clout tweet because like you know people are gonna agree with it, and even if it's just like the most lame piece of advice, like I don't know, like oh, don't wear yourself down too much as a streamer, you got to take care of yourself. So like I've definitely I do, like I've done those, and I like looking back now, I used to do them a lot more because I was just like, these are like it's free interactions, you know. But yeah, so that's kind of something that I've seen happening.
Yeah, and that's something I want to talk about because I'm somewhat new to Twitter actually. I've joined Twitter. I mean, I joined Twitter forever ago, but I never used it. I just recently started using it when I started streaming in March, and so it's very interesting, kind of like as more people start to interact with my tweets, experimenting with specific tweets and seeing which ones get likes, and not in an authentic way, but I'm like, I actually mean what I'm saying, but like I'm like, oh, I noticed this doesn't get that many likes, this gets a lot of likes, and kind of just trying. It's really fun, actually. It's kind of like a fun game in a way to kind of see like what gets in. It is a science, and something that you're really good at. And I actually take some tips from you. In your you had a YouTube video about it that I watched.
I do.
And I thought one of the inputs that I use a lot now is kind of waiting a couple hours after you post to respond. That way, it kind of gets back up in the timeline, so other people who may have missed it see it again. I use that every time now. But it's interesting, like the wholesome tweets that you talk about, right?
Wholesome cloud tweets.
Wholesome cloud tweets, because I mean, we all do a couple of those, and it doesn't mean we don't mean it, right? It's like there's something that like really wholesome that happened, or like, you know, I did it whenever you rated me the one time when we met.
Yeah.
And you rated me, and I was like, oh, you know, big ups, thanks for the rave 5. And yes, I meant it, but I also understood that in me doing so, that it was going to make you notice, and it was going to make other people notice, and hopefully that would kind of get you into the scene. So
exactly,
you know, there's a balance of having understanding that yes, you were doing this a little bit for exposure, but you also mean what you say, and you're expressing yourself.
Yeah. And it's like it's definitely a fine line between like doing that all the time and just like being super inauthentic. And like I think you can tell when people do it, like and if they're being authentic. Like it's very easy to like tell like if people like mean what they say, even like through words. It's like you can tell if they're just saying stuff to like follow a trend or something. Like it's very obvious when I see that. I'm like, oh my goodness, like this guy again. And I try very hard to avoid being that person myself, and I'm sure I come across to some people like that, but you know, you can't please everyone.
Stevie.
See, you're figuring it out. We're getting our flow now. We got it.
Hey,
no, I was gonna...
Oh no, I was just saying like we're figuring each other out.
It's all good, man. It's been like honestly like a year since I've done like a formal podcast, so just getting like the wheels turning and stuff.
Yeah,
but at least it's similar content to what I'm used to. Yeah, but I think for me, as someone who, I'm gonna be honest, my screen time the last 8 months since the pandemic is probably out of control.
Bro, I'm like at 13 hours a day.
I'm like at 9 or 10, just because of like my recovery time, because I've literally had nothing else to do with my injuries and stuff. So I'm sitting here, and what I have in front of me is my phone, and I'm just scrolling through, and I'm like trying to find my way to like engage with people and be authentic and not inauthentic, because like you just said, there's so many people that I can look and be like, that's a cloud tweet. And there are a lot of people guilty of it, and like I don't blame them. It's not like a hostile thing. Like but you're kind of like, really? Like, come on, man. Like, you know what you're doing with that tweet. But that's my one piece of advice for grinders, is to not buy into that stuff. Try to be as authentic as possible, because that's what's going to get you recognized and not buried by all the tweets about them going live. And like try to do something. That's the one thing I've taken from you, And like I said, watching that video that like he mentioned, I even watched it last night again just to like, because I'm trying to figure things out. I want to get back into streaming again and just be
Yeah.
like, these are the tools that are going to help me maybe get more engagement.
Yeah.
Well, and make your tweets matter. Like, you know, some people will tweet some like ridiculous shit. Like, and some people tweet some
I
stuff
am
that
the worst with that.
Well, and some people, like-
agree with you.
And I get it. And like some people do the cloud tweets of like my life isn't going well right now, and I get that. Like you're confiding in Twitter, but like some people get a little too much for that shit, and it's just like we get it. We understand you're having a bad time. Reach out to people individually, but like this, it's like it comes to a point where it goes from like reaching out to attention seeking, and we can tell. And also there's this line of like you're on gaming Twitter. Nobody cares about the fucking Bears winning the World Series or whatever the fuck. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess maybe to an extent, but you know what I'm saying? You know, some people will be like, go Bears and get 4 likes. Like, why are you not getting only 4 likes? Because you're on gamer Twitter. Nobody even knows what the Bears is. Is it baseball, hockey? Nobody fucking knows. And it's just like, make your tweets matter. I mean, I see so many people that are tweeting like, great day today. Cool.
That's
cool.
Nice.
Cool. I'm glad you had a great day, but you are providing something to other people that they can resonate with.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's important. But what do you think, Five? Because I mean, you're the real Twitter guru. We're just really talking shit here.
I mean, yeah, I think it's just knowing your audience, and that it's kind of similar to streaming, like knowing your audience, like not changing yourself, but also like catering what you do to that, because it's like okay, I understand like who my community is, and I understand what they like, because I've taken time to like learn about all the people in my community who follows me, like what they're interested in. So I'm not like you said, I'm not gonna tweet about like my favorite sports team, because like 90% of the people in our community like aren't necessarily interested. And I'm not gonna tweet about like oh, my dog chewed up my shoe today, because they don't care. Like I mean, they like some people probably care about like every single thing that I do, but like you want to like cater like your content to like what like a good amount of people. Like if you like, you don't have to change yourself, but if you want to see like that growth, you need to be able to recognize like who you're tweeting to, and like shaping your content around that, and just and kind of like emphasizing that aspect. Not change, but just kind of emphasize a certain part of your content.
Right. And if I could say one quick thing that really helped my Twitter out, and it seems so obvious, but you just, when you learn it, you see it seems so obvious. And I learned this from your video, Five, is like delete your going live tweets.
Yeah.
Delete your going live tweets after you do it. I have people who will follow me, and I usually try. I think you do too. I usually try to follow a lot of people who follow me, because it's like you know, it's like interaction. You care, like they care enough about you. You should maybe at least learn a little about them.
Yeah.
And what one thing I look on some people's accounts is it's all going live tweets or retweets.
Yep.
And it's like, hey man, I want to know about you. I don't know what about like Jimmy87 cares about the fucking Bears winning the World Series again. And it's like these, or that you went live 5 times last week with your default photo with no context. You like delete those. And I think that's something that you do really well, and that you portray really well in your video. But like, other than that, are there any other tips for any like aspiring entertainers or in the gaming scene that to try to like make themselves more noticeable in the Twitter scene?
Yeah, I don't think you need to tweet. So there's I think amount of tweets is also important. Like the amount of times that you post, because you don't want to overdo it, because then people are like okay, like I don't really care if he tweets now, but like also you don't want to do it so little that people are like just forget about you. So it's definitely like a balance. Like for me, I tweet like anywhere from like 2 to 8 times a day, but I really emphasize being active on Twitter regardless of how much I like tweet myself. So I'm always responding to people. I'm interacting with everybody's tweets, and that's where I've seen the biggest growth. Is I feel like I'm everywhere. I'm responding to everybody's tweets all the time, and like I'm like in like engaging. I'm engaging without like putting out a lot of like oversaturating my own content. So that's kind of the biggest thing is connecting with people instead of just letting people come to you. So yeah, that's definitely like I think my biggest thing. Like obviously all those tips that I had in the video like are really helpful, but I think connecting as much as possible is huge.
in an authentic way too.
Yeah. Not just like emojis under everything, but like actually like reading what they
Yeah.
like reading what they say and then like responding to it, like being a human being, you know? And
Yeah.
like they're like if they like say like, oh, I had a great stream, it's like awesome. I'm so glad to see that. Like boom, easy. Like and you've connected with that person in like a personal way. Cause like it's not just like a like if you get elicit a response out of somebody that makes you like feel special to that person, that creates like a quick like bond.
Yeah,
And yeah.
absolutely. And I see people who follow me and then I'll like respond to their stuff. Like some people will just like not respond to any of your stuff. It's like, oh, you're not fun to interact with. That's like the whole point of Twitter is to be fun to
Yeah.
interact with. It's like, yeah, of course, some people follow you as an entertainment personality, right? And then that's
Mm.
cool. But it's like, I mean, the whole point of Twitter that is interacting.
Yep. Yeah. And it's I definitely I try my best. The bigger I've become, the harder it is because it's exhausting like replying to everybody when you get like 30 comments on a tweet. But you know, I try my best. Like even like when I joined Synergy, I got like 300 comments on that post and I responded to every single one. Or like 90%. So and like that like I just don't want people to feel like I don't care. So I try my best to respond to everybody all the time, which is definitely challenging.
Stevie.
He's rubbing. Dude. I can see it in the hands.
The
He's
hands.
like, whoa. He's brewing.
No, I definitely agree with a lot of the stuff you guys are saying. Like, I think for everyone, that's out of all three of us right here, I probably have the weakest Twitter game. Because I think I meme too much. It's just like somebody says and it's a meme. Somebody says something and it's a meme. I'm just like,
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, maybe that's my way of being authentic with people because I
Yeah,
just find
and
things
shoot,
hilarious.
Yeah, not everybody is gonna have like a cookie cutter. Like I don't feel like that's what you should go for. I like if memes are your thing, shoot, like run with it. Like just try to make it like the best you can be, I guess. And like I don't feel like everybody has to tweet exactly the same way. And like, you know, and I don't think that's what it takes to be successful. But just like improving it to the best it can be, you know.
Yeah, and being authentic. I mean, just I stress this so much. It's just be authentic. Don't fake any relationships. Don't follow people in hopes like, oh, they're gonna follow me back. Like I know you see it. You don't have to say anything. I know you see it. I see it. People will follow you. Maybe you don't follow them back for a couple days, and then they unfollow you, and you like, oh, I forgot this person followed me, and then you go to check them out, and then they've already unfollowed you. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, you didn't even give me 24 hours to take a look at you. Now I know you. Next time I see you around in the scene, I know your intentions.
Yeah.
And just don't do that, please, for the love of God.
Please.
Please. I know we're starting to kind of get later into our time here, and I know you're a busy dude, so I don't want to keep you too much. And I know Stevie probably has a couple more questions. One thing I wanted to talk about, and I know we have a couple of topics that we didn't have time to get to, but I'm sure we'll get you on another time.
Here for it.
I want to talk to you about what are your plans for the future? Like you've got such momentum over the past 8 months, and you've skyrocketed in regards to like your G Fuel sponsorship or in joining Synergy and helping elevate Pryde to what it is and growing your channel and making these connections and relationships. Like where do you have a plan on where to go from here, or are you just kind of riding on the momentum and just like being in the moment?
I'm definitely like wanting to like embrace the momentum, and I feel like Pryde also has a lot of momentum right now, so I'm trying to like harness both of them at the same time. I honestly I'm really happy with where I'm at. Like I'm very very content with like how things are. Like if I could make myself a little bit less busy, that'd be nice. But like other than that, dude, like I honestly I just want to like make sure that everything I'm just like continuing to be consistent. I feel like that consistency is my biggest desire right now on like all platforms, and kind of just growing from just streaming to also into YouTube, maybe TikTok again someday. I don't know. But yeah, I just my short term, I just really want to continue my like steady growth with where I'm at, and try to make all the pieces that like I'm involved in. I just want to make all of those the best that I can. You know, I just want to have a complete, like, well-rounded, like, content life, I guess, is the short-term goal. Long term, I'm still under contract, so I got to be doing my full-time job for at least 2 years.
Oh, really?
So so like if I enjoy this, like, 2 years, boom, I could like go full-time if I'm seeing enough success financially. Like, unfortunately, it's mostly about financials, because like
Right.
life is expensive, and
How
but
close are you to going to full? How close are you to being full time? Do you think? I mean,
no,
obviously,
I don't even
ignore the
think.
contract. Ignore the contract. Like,
Yeah.
if if you ignore your work contract, in reality, and obviously, I would never talk to you about money. But like, what do you
Yeah.
think as far as going full time? Do you see that in the near future for yourself?
Dude, I'd have to grow a lot more. In my opinion, I think even if I didn't have a contract, I'd still work part-time. I might tone it back and try to put a little bit more into this, because I feel like I have a little more potential that I'm just limited by time. But also, like, for me, like, my view on it is I'd want to make at least what I make now from a full-time job, plus like maybe like 50% before, like, monthly, can like, and I don't want to do that for at least like 3 to 6 months before I could even like think about that, because you got like insurance, and like I have a girlfriend and dogs that I have to take care of, so I gotta like provide for them. Like, obviously, like, she has a job, she's taking care of herself as well, but like I have to like provide for my family. I have to like get medical insurance and like pay for a car, and like, all that like adult stuff. So like going full time, it would take a lot of support from the community, for sure. Like I'm not asking for more support. Like, the support has already been like overwhelming. Like, it's already like changed my life in crazy ways. But like, I definitely want to, like, I'd want to be secure, like, knowing I wouldn't want to like take that leap of faith, like, stupidly, because like it is a leap of faith, like trusting that your community like will support you through all of that, and it's basically putting your life in other people's hands, which is like, it's terrifying.
Way in the
Uh,
platform's hands, and the
yeah,
variability
exactly,
of the platform
exactly.
and other platforms, and seeing if
Trends and everything. So it's very volatile, but also like it can be super, like people, like, you can make like really good money streaming. Like I see people like you can make like better money than I'm making right now. Like I know like 14, 15-year olds that stream that like make more money than I do at work. So it's like so like you can definitely, like, it can absolutely be done. It's just I would personally, just where I'm at in life, I don't want to be like secure in knowing that like my content is able to carry me financially as well.
Stevie.
I 100% agree with that. I think about
Yeah.
some things like that too, because from my standpoint, I'm technically disabled. I get
Mm,
income from being disabled, and then I
mm,
used to work part-time on top of that. So
yeah.
like, I dabbled in the streaming, and I had a few good months there where I got a payout. I was like, wait a minute, like, you
Yeah.
think in your head, maybe if I get to a point, but like all those points that you just said, you want to have peace of mind. At least like with the job, you clock
Yeah.
in, you're getting paid. But
Exactly.
maybe
Like,
one day Twitch adds a rule, and
yeah. Or they
that's
could pull
it.
a mixer and just like go belly up, like,
Yep.
overnight, like with no warning, and like people just like lose
Hmm.
everything, which is like, that's so, it's insane. Like, there's so many like factors that go into content creation, but also could be incredibly rewarding. So it's kind of like it's one of those things where it's like you put your trust into a lot of different factors.
Well, and at least in that situation, if Twitch were to go belly up, you would at least have your fan base. Like, everybody would come, right? But it
Yeah.
would be scary. Imagine switching over to another platform like YouTube
Yeah.
if Twitch is still around, because I mean, switching over that fan base is not easy. I mean, some
Yeah.
people will
That's
instinctively go to
tough.
Twitch and watch Twitch, and like, even they may love you, they may love you, but they
Yeah.
may not. It's just not in their DNA to be like, okay, YouTube. No, they go to Twitch and they'll find
Yeah.
somebody else maybe
Yeah,
at Twitch. So it's scary.
there's so many, like, there's always another creator, and that's another, like, I don't know if we have time to get into it, but like taking breaks is hard,
Yeah.
because
Hmm.
everything moves so fast. Like, I took 10 days off earlier this month, and like I haven't, like, I feel like I've lost a couple people in my community, like, and I feel like I've had to work extra hard to like maintain that while I was there. Like I was so stressed out while I was on vacation about like maintaining like what the momentum I had because like I know like there's so many great creators, like especially in our community, like at any point in time, like somebody is online, somebody's always streaming, and people like they're entertaining, they're just as entertaining as me. And it's tough to take breaks because like it moves so fast, and like if somebody takes a month off streaming, like everything like could be gone, and
Yeah.
that's scary. Like that's terrifying. Like if something happened to me and I couldn't stream for a month, like I'd probably like I'd definitely lose like half my community probably, and that's not their fault. Like
Yeah.
they're just enjoying content, and like I can't blame them.
Well, yeah, and you would lose a decent amount of income too. I mean, when you think about
Yeah.
Twitch in a whole, like, you know, I'm a relatively small streamer. Whenever I have my friends, like I have my buddies who I work out with, and they know I stream, and one of them asked me how much I made, and I told him, and you know, it's not a lot in comparison to some people, but like he's like,
Mhm.
oh really? Like
Dude,
that
it blows
really?
people's
Really?
it blows my people's minds at my work because
Yeah.
I tell I stream and they're like, you do that playing video games?
Yeah.
Like they can't really understand like how much work like has to be put in because like it's so much more than just like turning on the camera. But like yeah, like like it's become like like such like Twitch financials have become such like an integral part of my life. Just like with like finances and stuff that like it's like yeah, like switching to anything is like is scary.
If I could ask you one more question before we start to conclude, because you really brought me into a really interesting thought process with
Of
this. Is
course.
and something I've talked to other people in our community about is what do you put a lot of your, because obviously how much do you put a lot of money back into your stream that you get from Twitch, or because it becomes an integral part of your life, and it can almost kind of get stuck into your, you can like depend
Yeah.
on that for your well-being, right?
Yeah.
And so I always think it gets a little scary for people who depend on that for their financial well-being,
Yeah.
whenever it's like, well, you could be pushing this to propel your potential career even further, like, you know,
Yeah.
in regards to like hiring editors for weekly YouTube videos,
Yeah.
or things like that. What have you thought about doing with that in regards to your YouTube? Because
I've
I know you
definitely,
don't
dude.
upload a lot, but
Yeah, I've definitely like I can't. So I don't have like the mental capacity anymore to edit my own videos and stuff. So
absolutely.
I always like reinvest some of the money I make from Twitch and like in like hire editors, and because I mean they need to get paid too. Like this that like they do that for their livelihood. So I kind
Yeah,
of like
pay your fucking editors. Pay your
please,
editors.
yeah,
Please
please
pay
pay your
your
editors.
editors.
And your
Dude,
designers.
And your,
and your designers.
of
Do you
course.
okay, it's crazy how many teams don't pay their designers. I just want to say that. I yeah, but yeah, I definitely try to reinvest in my community. I try to give back. Sometimes I like if like we like Meg and I bought somebody like Black Ops. Like he was like he's kind of going through it, and like he definitely wanted to play like opening night and stuff. And I was like, hey, like let's Meg, let's like I had a good month on Twitch. Like let's buy him like Black Ops so he can like start, like make content and stuff, and like that's just some of the cool things that I get to do to reinvest in the community, because like I'm blessed, like being able to do this and like make anything off it is like not a lot of people can do that. That's like very like some people don't get payout for like 6 months or like a year, or some people still have never got a payout. And so reinvesting in my community and into editors and into my content. I used to every time I got a paycheck I would like add something to my setup to improve quality. I've kind of like I've hit the point where I've maximized like my like what I can add. So now I'm definitely like doing like trying to give like do giveaways or pay designers for ads or stuff like that that can like help further myself and like further them as well.
Awesome, man. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's really it on my end. Stevie, anything you wanted to chime in on that before we conclude?
No, I mean all those points as a designer, as those points, yes,
Yes.
100%, man. Like investing into yourself is gonna further your content if you can. But I know
Mhm.
a lot of the people that are doing this stuff, they see the money and they instantly are like, I can pay this bill, or I can
Yeah.
this is gas money, this is food, this is rent. before it's improving their setup. But I don't want those people to get discouraged. Like, we all have to pay bills. We all have to have a roof over our head. We all need food in our bellies. So, like, just keep chugging along. When you get that opportunity, just try your best with it. Don't get super stressed out about it. You'll get where you want to get with some hard work. You'll be all right.
Yeah. 100%.
Reinvest in yourself.
100%. Treat yourself.
Treat yourself. Well, before we go, and I'm sure Steve's going to have a little closing outro here for us, but I want to do something because we talked about it earlier, and I think it'd be really fun to do at the end here. I want to see everybody's average screen time right now. We're talking about it.
Oh, no.
I want to see everybody's screen. I looked at mine earlier, and I think mine's like 5 hours and 39 minutes.
Is that your average? What's your weekly average?
My weekly average, or that's my daily average.
That's your daily average?
That's my daily. Yeah, but you have to keep it. Listen. I will watch YouTube videos, YouTube podcasts, and just like leave it on while I'm doing stuff. So I'm not like attentively.
You're making it sound like it's high. You're making it sound like that's high.
Is that not high? Okay, well, I'm shutting
5 hours.
5 hours a daily average.
5 hours?
Yeah.
Hold on. Oh, wrong way.
12 hours and 18 minutes. Jesus fuck.
Okay. I
that
don't
is
have
my
that.
life.
I don't have that beat. I have 7 hours 35 minutes, but mine is down 40% from last week.
I've spent 86 hours. And social media is 60 hours. Entertainment's 12, so Twitch, YouTube, and then others 4. 50, yeah.
I would love to know the average of screen time while you're pooping. I feel like
it's so much. It's 100%. It's 100%. It takes up 100% of my poop time. I do not go to I do not like go to the bathroom without pooping. So wait, no. I mean, without looking at my phone.
Yo, me neither, dog. Me neither, dog.
I've been there.
Say, bro. Anytime I go to the bathroom, I'm straight pooping for sure.
Every time. Oh man.
Well, dude, Five, thank you so much for being our inaugural guest for the first PrydeCast. I really appreciate it. Just thanks for being you. Thanks for being a cool guy. Thanks for just enriching the community and enriching people. I mean, you've personally enriched me. I mean, I definitely wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for you. If it wasn't for you seeing potential in me. And stop it. For you seeing potential in me, and for just caring about not just me but everybody else. Yeah, thank you, Stevie.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, we were just, I think we were talking about it last week that like the only reason Five and I met is because somebody else we knew told Five to raid me because I was having like a really bad day, and then he raided me for like the most viewers I've ever had, and then we've been friends ever since. And then now I'm in Pryde, and it's just like, I'm just really thankful for all the relationships that I've built in the last few months, especially yours, both of you guys. So it's pretty awesome, not to get sappy or anything, but But yeah, that's been this episode of the PrydeCast. I want to thank Five, obviously, for coming on, and then Milnash for carrying this episode because he can talk incredible amounts of time and flow very nicely. So bear with us as we kind of get our bearings through more of the episodes. We're eventually going to be live streaming this probably by episode 3 or 2. Maybe the next one we'll just throw it up and see what happens. But live streaming adds that other dynamic of things that are a little more difficult to understand. But also some things to get out of the way. Pryde just dropped some merch yesterday, so make sure you guys pick that up. You can get 2 hoodies for the price of the 100 Thieves drop that just happened today, and it's not sold out. So figure it out. Go get some.
Kanji, baby.
Okay. Got you, baby.
But yeah, I think the next few episodes we're gonna get some more different content creators on here. Make sure you follow Five. What are your social medias? Let them know.
You can find me on Twitch at 5BC. I won't tell you what the BC means right now. You can come and ask me. And then it's at 5FYVEX on Twitter, 5IRL on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok.
Nice. Tyler, where can they find you at?
Twitch.tv/Milnash, Twitter.com/Milnash. I upload weekly at YouTube, YouTube.com/Milnash12. It's 1-2. Some asshole took Milnash, so that's where I'm at. And that's it.
And then, yeah, you could follow me on Twitter at FranchiseGFX for all your fresh memes and holiday spirit coming up in the near future. And then also Twitch.tv/FranchiseGFX. I will be getting back onto that hopefully this week when I got a little bit of time. You can follow Pryde at GG Pryde for now. and then also the podcast at PrydeCast if you'd like to catch up with updates for the show. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will see you guys in the next few weeks with another episode.
See ya.